assemblies are configured for launch.
SpaceX and Meta, we confirm they're configured.
Copy MLA. On behalf of the entire SpaceX team, we're honored to have you aboard Endeavour for its third flight to the International Space Station. NCM-1 marks a new step in commercial spaceflight and research. We wish you a great mission. Good luck, Godspeed, enjoy the ride.
Actually, those more dark, I've got to keep my own. I'm going to let my crew get it done say it first.
שלום. כמה ימים לפני שאנחנו מציינים את המסע הגדול שלנו לחירות. And a few minutes before launching on this journey, I wish to share with you the words of the Greek poet Constantine Cavafy that well describe the perspective of our marvelous crew. Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you are destined for, but do not hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years. So you are old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you have gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you this marvelous journey. בהצלחה X1, בהצלחה רקיע.
Speculate that one to continue far less elegantly or eloquently, but we figure on the precipice of this new era of human spaceflight, we do so on the shoulders of professionals at SpaceX, NASA, and Axis. We want to thank all the teams at SpaceX, Falcon 9, Dragon, for watching us to all of the folks in this school. The first country in the next way space talking the first time was always hard and the playbook it's all open field running, but with ISS programs for video development and flight operations, we've learned a lot and we'll continue to do so. We want to thank again Stop with their vision and especially all the people in action for putting this mission together with the minor miracles of space before. All of these make no mistake are the men and the women in the arena. Their faces are marked metaphorically by the best sweat and blood, and these squad dogs will have no place with the cold and timid souls to know neither victory nor defeat. The crew of the great ship Endeavour is ready to sail her proudly, Arthur.
Some heartfelt words there. All right, so there was the call that we have begun to chill the engines on the first stage. So what we're doing right now is flowing a little bit of the super chilled liquid oxygen through the turbo pumps on those M1D engines. There's 9 of them at the base of the first stage. And that's essentially bringing them down to the temperature of that super chilled liquid oxygen to prevent any thermal shock to the hardware. Just before that call, some really heartfelt words from Commander MLA and Mission Specialist Eitan Stiba. Really love hearing that commentary.
Stage 1, RP loading.
At this point in time, fuel is fully loaded on both the first and second stage. LOX loading continues on both stages.
Coming up on 5.5 minutes. Gates let us know that we've got the fuel load complete. Next is coming up with T-minus 5 minutes. Dragon will be transitioning configuration for terminal count and going on its internal battery power. Everything continues to look good as we're counting down.
Dragon is in configure for terminal count.
You've heard the call out. We're pressurizing the tanks for Strongback retract. We'll hear a sequence momentarily. Strongback is retracting. Actually, that's the start of about a 1 minute sequence. In about T minus 4 minutes, the clamp arms that you can see there will open, and then we will see the retract from there. So we've heard the call out. It's the start of the sequence. Doesn't mean that the clamp arms are late opening. It'll take us a few more seconds.
As you can hear, the excitement and the crowd is really growing here at SpaceX headquarters at Hawthorne, California. There you can see the clamp arms have begun to open. And next we should see the Strongback begin to retract. This structure is what we basically use to transport the fully integrated vehicle to and from the hangar to the launch pad. And there you can see that the Strongback retraction has begun. Everything continues to look phenomenal as we're now under 3.5 minutes until launch. RP1 fuel is fully loaded on first and second stage. Should be wrapping up LOX load on the first stage momentarily and continue to fill on second stage.
Stage 1, LOX load.
We're under 3 minutes until liftoff of the Axiom 1 mission.
Dragon is in terminal count and is on internal power.
All right, there we heard that Dragon is on internal power. As I was saying, we're getting close. The crowds are growing. The excitement is palpable. You can see there on the left-hand side of your screen, mission control here in Hawthorne, California, just behind where John and then on the right-hand side, that looks like Axiom mission
That
control.
looks like Axiom mission control in Houston, Texas. Everybody's waving and saying, hey.
All right, at this point in time, the LOX load first stage is complete. So the first stage is now fully loaded with all of its propellant. LOX load on second stage continues. As we've mentioned before, all right, so there's that call. At this point in time, Falcon 9 is Dragon is fully loaded with all of its propellants, nearly 1 million pounds of that propellant.
Next event coming up, right, the gas closeouts. We finished pressurizing the storage tanks on board the Falcon 9. They gave the crew the heads up. They hear some loud venting noises. We're also going to vent down the liquid oxygen line that carried the LOX up to the second stage. Generates a typical large white cloud of condensation around the Strongback. Big event coming up now, T minus 1 minute. All the flight computers take over. Let's listen in to the last minute of terminal count.
Dragon is in countdown.
Dragon, SpaceX, go to launch.
Tabor 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, Dragon, Airspeed, Axiom 1.
Together, the new chapter begins. Godspeed NX1.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 38 seconds into this historic mission, flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon.
Stage 1.
Throttling down in the preparation for max dynamic pressure.
Stage 1.
Hurling 1D engines coming back up to top.
One Bravo.
The crew calling out 1 Bravo should a escape situation arise and tells the Dragon flight computer what profile to fly using the Super Draco engines. But everything is looking good on Falcon 9. We're getting nominal callouts from all the engineers and a great view from the ground camera and the onboard cameras.
Injection.
Beginning to chill in the second stage turbo pump in preparation for its ignition coming up in just over half a minute from now. Coming up on about 3.5 G's acceleration for the crew. We'll begin throttling down the Merlin engines to hold that level of acceleration. Next event coming up, we're going to get main engine cutoff of the 9 engines. Get stage separation and ignition of the second stage engine. You've heard the throttle down call out. We're holding 3.5 G's for the crew.
And Eco.
Successful stage separation and ignition of the second stage engine on the left. The titanium grid fins beginning to slowly deploy. Great views from the first stage camera. The first stage now begins a slow flip maneuver. You can see the white nitrogen gas plumes as we reorient for an entry back through the Earth's atmosphere a little bit later in the plus count. Second stage, we see the engine nozzle glowing red. Everything continuing to look good on the second stage. Should be hearing call outs coming up to the crew here shortly on how the trajectory is looking. What we like to hear.
Signal Bermuda.
AOS Bermuda acquisition of signal. Bermuda tracking station now getting telemetry from the second stage of the Falcon 9 with the Dragon on top. T plus 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Everything continues to be nominal. First stage coasting to apogee, and then it'll come back down for landing on the drone ship. Second stage, partway through its lengthy burn to get the crew into orbit. So Kate, 4.5 minutes in, everything continues to look good.
What a absolutely picture perfect liftoff. We've got a live view of the crew inside Dragon Endeavour. Looks like everyone is still pretty comfy. As John had said earlier, we got to. All right, good call out there that trajectory is nominal. As John mentioned, we got to about 3.5 Gs there.
Position of signal, New Hampshire.
On the left-hand side of your screen, we can see the first stage as it is making its way back down to Earth. It's targeting a landing on a drone ship, a short haul of Gravitas, which is parked a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida, out in the Atlantic Ocean. Second stage on the right-hand side, everything continues to be nominal there, as the MVAC engine is powering the second stage and Dragon Endeavour to its targeted drop-off orbit. Absolutely beautiful views of both the first and second stages. All right, so coming up in about a minute and a half, the first stage will execute the first of 2 burns required for today's landing attempt. At about T plus 7 minutes and 30 seconds, we'll see the entry burn begin. That's where the first stage will ignite the center engine first, and then a couple seconds later, ignite 2 more engines, so a total of 3 engine burn, which will last about 29 seconds. The entry burn slows the vehicle down significantly as it re-enters back into the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage sees high drag, which scrubs roughly 70% of that velocity by the time that the landing burn begins. Stunning view where you can see the curvature of the Earth there on the left-hand side. There you can see the nitrogen gas thrusters. That's the puff of gas that you see there occasionally. That's used for attitude control systems. We also utilize those grid fins that you see. There are 4 of them placed around the booster. And those grid fins also help steer for a precise landing, either at there we can see that that entry burn has begun. We are targeting a landing on the drone ship, a short haul of Gravitas today. Everything continuing to look nominal with trajectory and MVAC performance there for our second stage on the right-hand side. So we are conducting the entry burn. Previously, the booster was that entry burn helps slow the booster down. It was going about 25 times the speed of sound. So we slow it down as it re-enters the dense part of the Earth's atmosphere. The next event is second engine cutoff, or SECO 1, as you see it there on the timeline at the bottom of your screen. That's where we shut down the MVAC engine, or second engine cutoff. Note that our landing burn and second engine cutoff will occur about the same time. All right, we got a live view of the crew inside Dragon Endeavour there on the right-hand side of your screen. Landing burn has begun for the first stage. All right, great news there. Dragon Endeavour, nominal orbit insertion.
It's friggin' amazing.
All the while, great commentary there. While we can confirm the landing. Confirm the first stage booster. Also, almost simultaneously, great news for the second stage booster with this nominal orbit insertion for Crew Dragon Endeavour that you can see a live view inside our Dragon. Looks like the crew is beginning to adjust to zero G. If you look at the right-hand side corner, it looks like we can see the zero G indicator.
That was one of mine. That was one of the things I really wanted to see what they were going to bring for their zero G indicator. So I can't wait to see what comes on.
It looks, I can't quite tell, Pokemon. Maybe, okay, well, hopefully it'll come into closer view.
Yeah,
But
if not, we'll get to ask them later, hopefully.
yeah, great to see the crew here again, starting to really getting their first taste
Yeah.
of micro.
Yeah,
It has ears. Oh, it's a bunny. Is that Thumper?
I think it might be.
I think that's Thumper from Bambi. Love it. So right now, the second stage is basically preparing for dragon separation. We are the next step now that, as we said, dragon has nominal orbital insertion. The second stage and dragon is separation. Views there of our MVAC engine now shut off, no longer glowing that lovely shade of orange. Right now, the second stage is about 200 kilometers above Earth. Preparing now for stage separation, or excuse me, for dragon separation. For those of you that have just recently joined us, we had an on-time liftoff of the Axiom 1 crew. They're now in space and coming up to separation from second stage, at which point they will then begin to make their journey, continue their journey to the International Space Station. The view that you're currently looking at is inside the dragon. He has just separated from the second stage.
We have the Falcon 9. Welcome to for flying Falcon 9. Guys, enjoy your trip to the wonderful space station in the sky. Do some great research for us. Love to see you back here in the stand by for support.
Excellent.
And MLA and Mr. Crew Endeavor, glad we got to have some fun this morning. We'll probably be calling it the weekend over in the Cape. Thanks to every team. You'll be in good hands. Godspeed, Endeavor. Enjoy the rest of your